Hey, this is Del K. Brereton, and this is the Real Spiel. It is the drive home, the live drive, the drive home. And, some things have been coming up recently. I know a lot of people are going back and forth, arguing about this, and something I just felt I should talk about because I feel like talking about it. That's all there is to it. But listen to me, man. What's going on with basketball racism? Why are people positioning these female basketball players in some kind of micro race war? And there's three women to me that are at the top of it, two specifically, and the third one, I don't know why she's even involved, but Caitlin and Angel Reese, that's a college rivalry that has spilled over into the WNBA. That's completely understandable, the rivalry. But how is now AJ Wilson part of this? Okay, let's start at the top of the herd. AJ Wilson's the best basketball player in the world. Period. She's the best basketball player in the world. And Angel Reese and Caitlin are fantastic rookies doing fantastic things, setting records for the both of them. Apparently Caitlin is now part of 10 rookie records or other records that include three-point shooting, etc. But they can't touch Wilson. They can't touch her. They cannot touch her. They cannot touch her. Reese is rebounding like Dennis Rodman and what's his name from back in the day in the Sixers, the 76ers, Moses. She's like Dennis Rodman and Moses Malone. She's rebounding the heck out of that basketball. That's fine. But leave these three women out of this fight for race. And this is what's happening now. This is what's happening in America. And it's really crazy. It's really crazy that all of a sudden this has become about race. These little girls, when they were little girls, their parents decided to put them in basketball, and they played basketball. And they found a way to use their little girls' bodies. Anybody who's coached little girls or coached little children understand the different mechanics that are required when that big old ball and their little tiny body has to try to get the trajectory of that ball up there, and they have weird trajectory, they have weird form. But some of them find a sweet spot. Some of them get good at it. And Caitlin is a born shooter. That little girl can shoot the doggone, she can shoot the rock. She's a born shooter. And growing up in basketball, this is what I love about basketball. Basketball and football has similar scenarios, but let's talk about basketball. You had the brothers who could dribble. You had the brothers who could jump. You had the tall brothers. You had the brothers with big hands. You had the brothers that could talk junk. And then you had your shooting white boys. You had your white boys who could shoot the basketball. And brothers could shoot too. But when it was like a I grew up in the 80s, man. It was like a phenomenon to have a shooting white boy sitting on that wing. Come on. And anybody who played basketball knows that, right? I'm not even going to include Larry Bird because to call him simply a shooting white boy is disrespect to Larry Legend. But let's throw some other names out there. You've got Shishting. You've got Kerr. You've got Paxton. You've got guys like Deadlift Shrimp. You've got a lot of shooting guys, white guys that got into the NBA because they had one NBA skill. They could shoot the rock. Period. And Caitlin is in the line of those legendary hawk-eyed bullseye shooters. And she has, and this is what shooting is, the capacity to have repetitive depth perception on an accuracy that is more than everybody else. She can shoot the rock. She can shoot the rock. Yeah, that's why Steph Curry is such a big phenomenon for us, right? Because we got a lot of black guys who can shoot, but to have the best shooter of all time be Steph Curry That's a phenomenon for black people. It is. It really is. Michael Jordan is a phenomenal shooter. He is a crazy shooter. Michael Jordan's 50% his career. He's a shooter. But when you first think of Michael Jordan, you're going to think, oh yeah, Michael Jordan is a flat out shooter. No, you don't think about that with Michael. But he is. He's a flat out shooter. But you think about that when you think of these dead-eye shooters. And there's nothing wrong with Caitlin being a great basketball player on her own and people leaving this race conversation out of it. Who's going to be the MVP between her and Angel Reese? Now, Angel Reese, she's the MVP of social media. She's the MVP of style. She's the MVP of trash talking as a rookie. She is such an amazing attribute to that basketball culture, and that young lady can rebound. She can rebound with style. With style. We've never seen such a cute rebounder in the WNBA, not to my recollection. So what are we doing? What are we doing confusing this entire thing with the context of race? And it's crazy, and it's on both sides. It's on both sides. Caitlin Clark has definitely inspired little white girls all over the United States of America to pick up a basketball. And what is wrong with that? What is wrong with this girl, this young lady who is seemingly unassuming young lady, but when she steps on the basketball court, you can put a cape around her shoulders because she is super. She is super. And to deny it is you're just stupid. You're just blind to deny how talented that young lady is. Is she limited in her game? Absolutely. She has limited aspects of her game, right? She's not a great passer. She's a terrible passer, in fact. She's terrible at passing the basketball, I would say. The amount of turnovers that she racks up, you shouldn't have her as a point guard. You shouldn't use her as a point guard. They're using her as a point guard because you have to draw out the defense to deal with her because she shoots for so long, so it mitigates her lack of capacity for accuracy with her passing, and the coach is willing to live with that, but she's not a point guard. She's definitely not a point guard. Not with those statistics. She's throwing the ball away like crazy. I wouldn't put her in the point guard position. I would have a two-guard front dealing with her offensively. I wouldn't throw her on the wing either because that limits your capacity to stretch the defense. I'd have a two-guard front, and I would stretch them that way. I would be running a 2-2-1 offense. That's what I would be running if I was her coach. A 2-2-1 offense. Two wing players, two guards, and a big in the middle, and four of them can shoot. That big in there is just handling business in the key. I just don't understand why everything has to spoil it and turn into this. Caitlin Clark was generating revenue when she signed her WNBA contract. People were buying out stadiums, television contracts. This is good for the sport. Tiger Woods did the same thing in golf. Switch it around. I heard today, my buddy told me today, that Jack Nicholson's career earnings were approximately $5,800,000. Jack Nicholson's career earnings. And forgive me because I'm not a golfer. I don't remember the guy's name. But the number one golfer in the world, his earnings were $62 million. That was his earnings this year. And his caddy made $6 million this year. His caddy would be the 55th highest golfer if he was a golfer, but he's not. He's a caddy in pay. He'd be the 55th highest paid golfer, and he's a caddy. This caddy in 1 year has out-earned all of Jack Nicholson's money. And the reason that golf is paying all this money, that all these golfers are making all this money now, is because of a guy by the name of Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods came into golf and changed the landscape of how money is made by golfers. And if Caitlin Clark went into the WNBA and all these young girls, black, Latina, Cardosa is one of my favorite girls, black, Latina, white, Asian, and otherwise, if all these young ladies are making more money because Caitlin Clark has awakened the hearts of white America or the world to basketball, then so what? So what? Let her stand on her laurels of what she brings to the table as a player. Let her stand on that, right? Does she deserve the Rookie of the Year? When you do all the statistics, her and Angel Reese are very, very close. Caitlin has broken more records, and I believe that their teams have, I don't know, I think they've split head to head, right? But am I going to be upset? Am I going to call foul if Caitlin gets the Rookie of the Year award? I think it's good politics. I think it's good for the WNBA. Give that girl the award. Give that girl the award. You're going to make more money in the WNBA by giving that girl the award, right? Angel Reese is a star. You know, I can't take nothing away from her. She just did Reese's Pieces. She's now the spokeswoman of Reese's Pieces. Reese's Pieces, handing out 2 pieces. The double champion of the WNBA, handing out 2 pieces all day long. That's great for her. Stop this nonsense. There should not be a race war in the WNBA over these young ladies. And you know what? You know, I'd be the most pissed person should be again Wilson, because she's the best player in the world, and these 2 rookies are getting more publicity than her, and she is the baddest female basketball player on the planet. I'd be upset if I were her. Everybody's running around with their social medias and all this kind of stuff, and she's out there hooping, giving people buckets, and everybody's fighting over this thing. This doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense to me. I understand why it happens, because people are evil, people are racist. We are, and it's not on one side. It's not on one side. Black people overcompensate for the fact that they just do not want to see a white girl get credit when there's another black girl doing work. And it's true, but it doesn't matter. Let that girl get her laurels. Nobody's putting the ball in the basket for her. That jump shot that jump shot has no color. That jump shot has no race. When that ball goes in the basket, it's not racial bias that's putting it in the basket. It's not nepotism that's putting it in the basket. It's not systematic slavery that her release point from the logo goes in the basket. There's not AIs putting her ball in the basket because she's a white girl from wherever she's from. That chick can play basketball. Let the game speak for itself. One of the things I always thought about back in the days where we really had these race issues in North America was how referees could skew a game if a referee was a racist, right? He could call a stupid travel, he could call everything a foul, he could affect the game in a number of ways, call a goaltend that wasn't a goaltend, these kind of things. But when I watch and see some of the historical games, I see that these men allowed the purity of the game to be what governed their calls, what governed how they saw the game. And I think that's what should happen. Let the game speak for itself. Not what you think of this person off the court, not the neighborhood they live in, not the culture they grew up in, not their accent, not their fans. Let them speak for themselves. No one hated Larry Bird more than me. No one. I didn't want to see Larry Bird beat Magic. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to see Larry Bird beat Magic, but when I seen Larry play, I wanted to shoot like Bird. I wanted to shoot like Bird, right? We saw back in the day with Muhammad Ali, and they always trying to get the great white hope to beat Muhammad Ali. They're trying to get a white guy to beat Muhammad Ali. We've seen it. There's so much racism that exists in sports, and it's terrible. And it really shouldn't be happening in the 21st century. And in all places, the WNBA, you got Stephen A. Smith, you've got Shannon Sharpe fighting over the WNBA. Well, you know what? If that's what needed to happen to put the WNBA on the map and to let these young ladies who are professional, amazing basketball players make real professional money, then let the chips fall where they may. I just think it's a shame that a lot of people are missing a lot of good basketball because you're pigeonholing things based on race. Okay? Leave it alone, man. Let these young girls be great. Let them be great. Let them be great, man. I'm seeing all these high school girls now dunking the basketball. Like, I don't know what they're putting in the water. I don't know what they're putting in the mascara. I don't know what they're doing. But when I'm seeing all of these high school girls dunking, and not just black girls, white girls and black girls dunking the basketball on 10-foot rims, I'm like, baby, this thing is about to evolve. I want to see it. I don't want to have any racial controversy regarding it. I just want to see great basketball. And I said for years, I can't watch women's basketball. They're not athletic enough. But once these chicks are now dunking, once these chicks are able to shoot from the logo and got moves like dudes, hey, I want to see this. I want to see this. So y'all need to stop it. Don't put any fuel on that fire. Leave these little girls alone and let them do what they're supposed to do. Entertain us. Entertain us. I want to be entertained. All right? Love, peace, and hair grease. This is Del K. Brenton on the drive home. It's the real spiel coming back at you.